No. I might need to clean my camera though. Squeaky clean. Hello. Can you hear me okay? I've never gone live on YouTube before, so I don't know. Is my sound working? Can you hear me okay? I can't tell. Yes. Okay. Hello. I told Levi, he's sitting in the living room and I'm just in our kitchen. So I'm almost nervous to go live on YouTube because I always, like, I've gone live on Instagram, but I feel like I know my Instagram people so much well because it's just like a smaller group. So it's like I'm a little nervous to go live on YouTube, but I usually do. My goal for this year was to be more consistent on here. So like a video on, I was like Monday and Friday, and then it's been like Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I won't have a video tomorrow. So I thought that I would just sit and maybe chat with you guys in replace of a video. I had my camera all day with me and I pulled it out. None at all. So I figured I'll just sit here and chat with you. I know someone asked about Miss A's, like an update with that, but we're still processing everything. I have a goal in my mind to share what we know. Levi Kane, he is watching me from the living room. I can hear myself echo. But I thought about on Valentine's Day maybe sharing that. So in 2019 on Valentine's Day, we shared of our negative beta. So it's kind of like, Miller, get down. Miller, get down. Kind of be like our day of just sharing news. So I don't know. I'll chat with Levi and see what he thinks. At that point, that would be like 2 weeks away. We kind of would have a better idea of what's going on. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Why don't you go and say hello, at least?
Hey, baby. Whenever you get done, when you brush your teeth, okay?
Awesome. Okay. So Amber, where are you at in the process? Have you started any of your classes? Are you just like at the paperwork stage? What does that look like for you? We have on my refrigerator probably like, I don't know, 10 to 12 classes that we have to do to like, or not classes, like trainings to do to keep our license. And it's haunting me every time I walk by. They're just not as, it's not fun because a lot of it's just like computer work, watching a video, taking a quiz. So just finished paperwork, finished classes, but my husband has to finish his. Awesome. What are your age ranges? My husband, okay, Amanda, I'm going to call this out because my husband will get a kick out of this. She said, hi from Dickville, Delaware.
Delaware?
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, we were talking to people from Canada the other day.
Hi from Norway.
Norway.
Massachusetts.
Hey, where's our picture?
I haven't been able to find it.
Okay.
6 weeks to 4 because I'm a 2-year-old teacher. 6 weeks to 4. Awesome. We are currently licensed, or like our preference, we said like newborn to 4, but I feel like with Miss A, I think she would do really well with a younger placement. We had a 2-year-old, we had little sister, and they did really well together. I think that she would do best. I think just like she has shared, she wants a baby in the house. So we're not limiting, like we haven't scaled back completely, just kind of something that we've been discussing. And we only have a crib open. So really we would have to have like at least 2 and under. But we actually got a call last week for a 2-day-old baby boy. And we both felt it was a medically needy baby. And I said, I don't know, like my heart wants to say yes, but how do people do it? Like Levi and I work full time, and this particular placement would be like monthly or even biweekly visits to a specialist in the city, which is about an hour and a half away. And my work is extremely flexible and more than gracious to let me off, but I was worried that constantly, like monthly or biweekly visits, it would be my work would say, like we've been flexible, but we're kind of like feeling taken advantage of, and I was worried for that. So we had to say no to that placement, but it was really hard to say no. It's like I was texting my mom, just trying to like figure out the situation. I was kind of telling her the needs of the baby and what she thought that would look like. And Levi and I always try to use our resources. So we always call people we know, or not call people we know, but call people that maybe have an expertise in that field. And my mom is a school teacher. She has been a special education teacher for most of my life. So we called her, and she was like, you know what, just say yes, because I need to smell a baby. And I too need to smell a baby, but it's just trying to make the best decision for Levi and I, for Miss A. And I wanted to say yes so bad to a little baby. They told us his weight. He was 5 pounds. I'm like, oh my gosh. My heart wanted to burst, but it wouldn't have been a good fit. And I hate to even say like the child's not a good fit for a home, because a child really isn't auditioning to be in our house, but just the needs were a little bit higher than what we could meet. And so we would be doing a disservice to ourselves and to this little boy by saying yes, but it was a hard one. We've been licensed for a few months and got 3 calls that have all fallen through. So, and you'll have to tell me, I'm in several foster care support groups on Facebook, and some of the agencies will call like 10 different people, and if all 10 say yes, then they kind of like narrow it down and like pick the best candidate. And in our area, if they call you and if you say, well, let me think about it, let me see what I can, like, let me talk to my husband or my wife or whoever, then they'll just like kind of put the calls on hold. And whenever you call back and say yes, and it's just like a placement comes to you, or if you say no, then they move on. I never understood the other method, because it seems like I would want a definite, like, yes, this child is coming to me. I wouldn't want to say yes and then just like be waiting, like, well, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? That always intrigued me to know why agencies do that. Haley, see you in a couple of days. Little lady said that Brantley better be on his best behavior. Actually, her words were, he better straighten up or she ain't coming. So you have to tell Brantley that. Okay. Sorry if I'm reading these questions out loud, like if that's bothersome, but is it the same in Missouri that if you want to adopt, they direct you to public adoption? So I don't know. I kind of have an idea of what you're asking, but if we had a child in our home that went to, like, parental rights have been terminated, their case was now an adoptive case, we would just have, for lack of better terms, like dibs on that child. And if we were selected for the placement, which 9 times out of 10, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, that's going to always be like they want to keep that stability or that same like constant. We would just move forward with the adoption, but it doesn't, unless we say no, the child's profile isn't going to be sent out. They're not going to ask 10 other families if they would be interested. I hope that answers your question. If that makes sense. That's what you said to me, and that's kind of how I'm thinking answering this. Oh, wait, okay, no, I think I know what you're asking now. So if you, like, sign up to foster and you say that you want to adopt, will that agency, like, turn us away and just say you need to do public adoption or private adoption? If that's what you're asking, no. They always say, like, in our classes, one of the teachers kinda said, "If you are here just to adopt, we kinda hope that you'll stay to foster because there is such a need." But, again, in those foster care support groups, I have heard so many people saying they were turned away from agencies because the family wanted to adopt. They wanted children that were, I mean, that rights have already been terminated or close to, or they think rights will be terminated. But we have never, to my knowledge, our agency will not turn families away if that is their main goal. Our goal was foster care, I would say like 60-40 foster care, but also adoption is on our hearts. You know, we have been trying to grow our family, or if you don't know, Levi and I got married in 2016. We have been trying relentlessly since then to grow our family. And when that wasn't happening, we kind of had to take a step back and kind of like ask God, but also listen to God because I already felt like He was screaming like foster care at us. But it was just kind of coming to terms with that. But whenever we couldn't and we still haven't been able to conceive, we kind of had to look and say, we have a home with extra bedrooms, we have love to give, we are in a financial spot where we can take on children. What can we do in the middle? And that's why we chose the route of foster care. But we still we want to grow our family, but we're also here to be in that middle. And yeah, so far we've reunified one time. Little sister reunified with mom. And at first, thinking of reunification, I was petrified, like wondering how we would feel, like would our hearts be shattered? What would that look like? And it ended up being like the most beautiful thing to witness, a family coming back together. So, and I know that's not going to be the case always, but in this particular case, little sister's mom worked her tail off and really did all that she was supposed to. So it was like, absolutely, there's no reason for little lady to be with us a day longer. Get the sister home. So, in a perfect world, how many kids would you like? So I grew up with two brothers, and then later on, my dad and stepmom had another little boy that was whenever I was 16. So I say I grew up with just the two brothers because like my childhood years were just spent with my older brother and then my younger brother. And I can't imagine like being an only child. I can't imagine my life without my older brother or my younger brothers. I can't imagine, like, they drove me up a wall. We bickered all the time. And honestly, the relationships with my brothers weren't even halfway, like, not civil. We were just like kids. Like, we fought all the time. I was like, oh, my brothers. And then once we kind of reached adulthood, it was like, you know what? I actually really love you guys. I really like you. But I can't imagine just having one, and I can't imagine just having two. In my perfect world, I would say like four. At least minimum of three, maybe four. Levi's would be two, so we're definitely gonna have to push that one. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. Okay, you've been fostering for 11 years, 22 children. Holy moly. We've had four, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like a veteran. And then I read comments like that. I'm like, you know what? I know nothing. I'm still a baby foster parent. Don't ask me anything. I don't know. That is awesome. You've adopted one in the process of adopting your second. That is amazing. Oh, I can't imagine 8 years and then reunifying. Hopefully and prayerfully, it was like a good situation that they were going back to. although your heart, I'm sure, is broken, it kind of eases that pain, I imagine, knowing that they are in like a safe and happy environment. I hope that's the case. Do you plan to take in a second foster child like you did before? Yes. It just has to be a good fit for our family and for little lady. Yeah, we've gotten, since little sister went home, maybe 3 phone calls. Rose, or Sugar. My dog is chewing her paws and she's gonna drive me insane. Sugar, hey, quit. That sucking and licking noise. It's like torture. But yeah, anyway, yes, we do plan on taking a second placement. Throw out my husband's hoodie. See a little, thank you, Shugs. Oh, goodness. Are we adopting Miss A? We technically do not know yet. Not sure. Yes, so Addison said we aren't announcing anything just because we really, we know a little bit of the picture, but we don't know the entire picture. There's still a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of open doors. So Levi and I have just decided to kind of hold off until we have a better idea of what that looks like, just so we can tell you, this is what's going on. There's not an if, and, or but here. Do you ever view sex as a chore since trying to conceive? I would say, are you coming to tell me goodnight? Okay. 1 second. I'm here, sister. Did Levi blow dry your hair? You can come this way. I love you. Good night. You have good dreams, okay? Okay, love you. I'll see you in the morning. Okay. See you in the morning. Okay, so to answer that question, let me get comfortable again. I would say whenever we were still with a doctor, like a fertility specialist, it absolutely felt like a chore because it was take an ovulation test. Is it negative? Don't do it. If it's positive, get on it. And then it was like, once it's positive, every other day, you need to be doing this, do this after, do this with it. And so it kind of felt like, even if we didn't want to, the test was positive. So it's like, son of a gun, like, I am tired. I want to go to bed. I want to roll over. I want to go to sleep. But you always felt that pressure of, well, my doctor said so we have to do it. Sugar. Oh, my Lanta, these dogs. But now we haven't been with our doctor. Actually, he retired at the start of COVID. Someone messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, did you see Dr. Witten's email in your patient portal? 'Cause I actually met her through the clinic. We kind of met, I think she followed me on Instagram or YouTube, and then we found each other in the lobby somehow. So we have become friends through that. But anyway, she knew that I seen that doctor, and so I went on to my patient portal, and he was like, by the way, peace, I'm retiring. Good luck. And at that point, we were already questioning if we wanted to stay at the clinic, if we wanted to change doctors, because we kind of felt like the doctor's approach to our IVF cycle was very relaxed. And we tried to emphasize, we are not made of money. We had to take out a loan for IVF. This isn't something that we want to take baby steps with. We want the full protocol. We want it all. And it just wasn't like that. And so at the end, we kind of felt like we were just a paycheck. Well, sorry that your transfer failed, but now we can do all these things. And now it costs this amount of money. And it's like, well, we just took out a $13,000 loan to do it in the first place. But had we had done all this from the get-go, I don't know. So long story long, we are not with a specialist at the moment. We met with one last summer, and I liked her. Levi didn't. But since then, it doesn't feel like a chore because there's not a doctor telling us when to do it, how to do it, at the time of day, come in and get labs drawn. It's been very relaxed. And especially since having Miss A, it's been extra relaxed because, and someone actually commented this on my YouTube video. I forgot which one it was. And she said, do you feel like the focus is less on trying to conceive now that Miss A is in our house? And it absolutely is because was that so bad? The focus is not on just trying to get pregnant. Our focus is on Miss A and making sure she's good at school and making sure like we're not eating out every night because when it's just Levi and I, like we can do those things, but now we have another human being to be responsible for. So it's definitely shifted our focus. It's still on trying for a baby, but it's just, yeah, just like, okay, the other night, and I hope that Levi doesn't mind that I'm sharing this. I got a blazing positive ovulation test, and Levi was like, I am tired. And I'm like, okay. Like I can't, I don't have anyone down my back saying that it needs to happen at this point. So we can definitely be more relaxed, and that is amazing. I wish it was like you described. I'd rather beat out another foster family. So that just seems they haven't even like been pulled into custody yet, but then you're getting a call. So it's like, hey, if this child gets taken into care, then would you be interested? That seems so stressful. Now, the one that we got most recently, the 2-day-old baby boy, he hadn't been taken into care yet, but it was a situation that they were going to, I don't know what they were waiting on. So, I mean, it kind of happens, but it's more of a definite, I guess. So if you're married or in a relationship, do you both have to sign up together to foster? I would say yes. But I would say yes. Don't quote me on that. I would definitely ask your agency, but I would think that both. Now, if you're not living with your partner, I would say that's going to be a little bit different. But if you are living together, I would say you would both have to be in agreement of fostering. Okay, so this question, has anyone said that stupid thing where you'll get pregnant when you adopt? Yes. So whenever we signed up to foster, we had some friends of ours that was like, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to get a placement and then you're going to get pregnant. And they kind of said it in a way that would be negative. And Levi and I were like, okay, so you're telling me the thing that we have been praying for 4 years will happen. And the thing that we feel called to do will also happen. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a big deal to us. Okay. I hate that comment. I get it often, and I'm just always like, okay, yeah, well, I hope so. I don't care when I get pregnant. Levi and I would both be incredibly happy. Sure, it might be a little bit stressful. I mean, depending on the age of the child, like with Miss A, she's 5 years old. So if we were to adopt her and then if we fall pregnant, okay, what's the harm here? I'm not seeing the negative in this. So I actually reached out to little sister's mom yesterday or the day before, and I just said, you've been on my mind. How are things going? And she said things are going really well. We were talking a lot whenever obviously she was in our house, and then I backed off because she is still like getting visits from a caseworker, and so I didn't want to be all up in their business. Like I wanted her to feel that separation, and I didn't want her to feel like constantly under a microscope or constantly reliving potential trauma of foster care. So I backed off. We still like each other's stuff on Facebook or Instagram, or we'll comment back and forth, but I try not to reach out. But I did yesterday because she was on my mind, and I just wanted to see like how things were going. I don't need to know information. I don't need to know like what's going on in your life, but I hope things are going well, and we've been thinking about you. So that was the gist of that conversation. Do I find it hard to work full time in foster? No, not at this point, because with Miss A, we have, monthly visits with our caseworker, and those are done after work. Um, at the start of January, we had to catch up like on a dental and vision appointments, like our yearly or every 6 months for dental. And those were kind of back to back. So I kind of felt bad that I had to message my manager and say, hey, I'm going to be late on this day, or I need to take this amount of time off. But with Miss A, now with every child, it's going to be different. I don't feel like it takes away from my job at all. All of her appointments I can make like during a lunch hour. And like I said, my work is extremely gracious and generous and flexible with me. But at this point, I can't say that it's hard. It just feels like it just feels like having a kid, like a biological child. Would I love to be a stay at home mom? I don't know. Part of me says yes and part of me says no. I think if I was home all the time, I would go stir crazy, would not enjoy it. I think it's best that I do work full time. Okay. So I think the system really it's getting better. I think there's been a lot of legislative change and a lot of emphasis on bettering the system. I have heard, in our classes, the teachers would say that they had children in care, like not adopted, just like in custody for like 7 years. And there would never be that talk of permanency or adoption. And now they really look at that a lot sooner, like 12 months, 15 months. And for me, I think that is a huge positive. A child deserves stability. They need to know that their bags are unpacked and unpacked for good, or they need to know that they're going home. But I do feel like, I can't speak for what it was years ago. I can only say what it is now. We haven't had, I haven't experienced or witnessed anything negative with the system yet, but we've also only been licensed for like a year. So, or actually, yeah, a year. But I'm glad to hear that. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, I'm glad to see that the system has improved. So, if we got pregnant while fostering, would that affect our future placements? Um, I think maybe temporarily we would kind of want to settle down and kind of ground ourselves and figure out our new routine and the new structure of our house. But until we're maxed out here, I can't see stopping, or until we can't fit them in our vehicle. I can't see myself driving like, what's that kind of van called, Levi?
What?
Like a van, not like a van, but like a huge, like a passenger van. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't see myself driving like one of those huge vans that fits like 12 people. So I feel like third row, that fits what? 6 people? 8 people total? Like when we're maxed out of that situation, I can see myself saying no to placements, but I don't know about Levi. He's probably more apt to say no before I will. So I'm like, give me all the kids. Do I make money from Instagram? If you don't mind my asking. I do not mind your asking. So I have had brands reach out and offer compensation that I share certain like products. But as you have seen, I have never taken a sponsorship. I have done one on YouTube and it was for the Prove ovulation testing. It like tells you if you have for sure ovulated. But most of the emails, I would say like all of the emails, because I've only responded to one of them, have been for things that just don't fit with who I am or what I share or what I'm about. I am not one that would just say yes to a sponsorship for the paycheck. This isn't my job. I have a job. Anything that I earn from YouTube is purely like extra. Like it's nothing that we depend on by any means. So I'm just not willing to give up. Maybe my integrity would be the word. I'm just not there yet. So to answer your question, I don't at the moment, but that's my choice. I could, but I just don't feel like I was sharing on an Instagram live the other day. I had a company reach out to me and ask if I would share like floodlights on your house, like motion detector lights. I was like, I don't think that the people would be interested in this. Like, I don't think that this is, I don't know about that one. So, yeah, I never mind your asking. I'm an open book. So, does Miss A have to visit her parents? She does not have to. We are currently not doing visits. I think that would be a better way to answer that question. Yeah, we are not currently doing visits. Does Miss A have to? Oh, wait, sorry, I just answered that one. Brain fart. So, what age range? Right now, we are newborn to 4 years old. Would we ever consider older children? I actually talked to my husband about this. I just asked him, like, would you ever foster a teenager? And we both said that we would, just maybe when we feel a little bit more secure in where we are and kind of foster care. We are still technically new at this, we've been licensed for a year. But placement wise, we've only had a placement for 5 months. We still do feel like it's a little early to take on maybe a teenager that would offer or bring more. I don't want to use the word challenges, but just like a different, maybe atmosphere. I don't know. I don't know the best word, but I hope that makes sense, and I hope that comes across not in a negative way. We do see ourselves eventually taking in older children. Could you get a call to foster a special needs child, or would that require special class or training? You can. They will probably call you if they're anything like our agency. They will call you for any child that they need a placement, but you don't need, as far as I know, and I could be wrong, and it might depend, from agency to agency. There aren't special classes that you have to have. I would say there are classes that they recommend you taking because it can offer a better insight on how to deal with kiddos with higher needs, but definitely not a requirement for my agency. To my knowledge, and again, I could be wrong. How did we tell our parents about doing foster care? So each situation for Levi and I was different. So my mom and dad, before they were divorced, were actually foster parents, and they dealt with a rough situation. They had a little baby boy that was picked up I believe it was 9 days old. They had him for over a year, and then he went back home to a situation that was probably should have never been reunified. And this wasn't our current county, I don't think. I think it was, I don't remember where, like what agency, don't know any of that. So I don't want to like talk negative about any agency, but it was just a situation that shouldn't have maybe reunified. I don't know. I was in middle school at the time, so I don't really know all those details, but it really hurt both my mom and dad. So whenever I told my mom about it, she was a little leery. Simply because she knew that hurt so very well, and that hurt was still very tangible for her, and that was her worry. But she was supportive. She just kind of said, here are my thoughts, and I'm always going to be honest with you. Here's what I think. Here's what I'm worried about. But you and Levi are, that's your decision to make. My dad was probably the same, but he isn't as vocal, I don't think, as my mom. My mom is very just like tells you how it is. And my dad is like, well, okay. You'll learn, like, you'll figure it out for yourself kind of thing. Levi's mom and dad, I think the idea was so new, or the concept, because they haven't really been exposed to that. Um, but I think all of our parents all around were very supportive, and we just sat down, I think at dinner with all of them. Not like we didn't call them and ask to have dinner with them just to tell them about our news. It just kind of came up at dinner. We had the conversation, we explained all of the things, and yeah, everyone has and was very accepting and supportive of our decision to foster. Is it true that the birth parents get 3 years to get custody back? So I haven't heard that, but I do know that at about 12 months, I think at 12 months, not even about, at 12 months is whenever they start discussing permanency, what that looks like, if they're going to terminate rights, if they're going to move on with reunification. I think maybe what I can think of to answer your question is if the parents are attempting, like they're working the steps, they're doing the things that they should, I think that the judge and caseworker and all those people that can make that decision are probably more apt to keep that case open and hope for reunification. But just as a blanket statement to say that they get 3 years, I would say would be false. You have to give me 1 minute. I'm gonna get something to drink. My mouth is getting so dry. I see my sink of dirty dishes behind me. Okay, so what was it like for you taking fertility medications? Would you try that again if you did? My doctor wants to start and I'm iffy about it. So the only fertility medications that I tried or that I took were those injections for IVF. So I would say like the first week on those, okay, let me restart that. I took one for like 3 months. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. It was quite some time before our IVF cycle. I took Lupron. It was an injection into my stomach. And I had terrible, terrible headaches and the worst hot flashes I have ever experienced in my life. They were not fun, but it was doable. It was nothing that I would say I would never take that again. The medications for our IVF cycle, like the Menopur, and if these are foreign to you, I'm sorry, Menopur, Gonal F, Cetrotide, I think I took. And then I also took some pills. One was like a steroid, and the other was prenatal folic acid. I didn't really have a reaction to those. I had some bloating because obviously my eggs were like overly being produced and all of the things. But again, it wasn't anything that I felt like, no, never again. I absolutely could do another round of IVF, but it would take us being able to pay for that all in cash. I don't want to finance it again. I don't want to fundraise for it again. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to be able to pay for it outright. So yeah, I can definitely see myself doing it again. I was iffy about it. It's extremely nerve-wracking, but you've got it. You can do it. You can manage it. It's nothing that you can't figure. It's nothing that you can't deal with, you know. The reward outweighs the headaches and the hot flashes and the cramps and all of those things. So I would just suggest like praying about it, maybe talking to if you know anyone at your clinic or a nurse, just kind of get a better understanding of what medications they're wanting you to try, those side effects. Maybe YouTube, I think, is a awesome resource. YouTube University. If your doctor's wanting you to take, what's the one for ovulation? Clomid. I would search like Clomid side effects, Clomid fertility drug, and watch those videos. Get a better idea because I think you'll see that There's a lot of nerves wrapped around it, but it's not bad. Mhm. How do you do this without a foster family support system? We started our classes, but we have no family to help us. They all live hours away. So, what I would do if in your classes, I don't know if they're virtual or if they're in person, what that looks like, I would find someone that you can connect with in those classes. Another great resource is getting on Facebook if you have it and search in your area for a foster care support group. Or there are two that I'm a part of, like Foster the Family, I think is one of them. There's like 20 something thousand members. Search in there. If you live in Austin, Texas, search or like make a post. Any families near Austin, Texas that would want to like chat, send me a message. There are other means to go about finding that support system, even without family living close by. There are friends, there are people in your county that can be that shoulder to cry on, that ear to listen to. There are a lot of, and especially like in our virtual world right now because of COVID, there are so many outlets to find people like me. Find me on Instagram if you have Instagram. Send me a message. I am always a listening ear. So I hope that helps. I know that has to be tough to not feel like you have anyone, right there to be able to walk with you in that journey, but you will find someone. I have many people that I have found through social media that have been an excellent resource. So, how do I cope with reunification? I I can't say that we've only dealt with one child being reunified, and as I shared earlier, I don't know if you missed that, it really wasn't a negative situation. Mom had done all that she should and was doing amazing, and little sister needed to be back home. Like there was absolutely no reason for her to be with us at that point. So that reunification process was not terrible at all. So I can't really answer that question because we haven't dealt with it. Maybe when we cross that bridge, I will be more than happy to kind of share that process and what that looked like for us. But at this point, I can imagine the hurt and the heartbreak that comes with it, but we haven't got to that point yet. So in Indiana, it can drag on a long time. And I don't know, and like I said, it will vary state to state, like different timelines. I hate that. At 12 months, when Miss A was in care, that's really when that question started being posed. What does permanency look like for a little lady? And I'm so thankful for that because she wants stability. She wants to know where she's going to be tomorrow, next week. Like she wants those answers, as most children do. I can't imagine 3 to 4 years and just. So I'd like to know, what part of Indiana are you from? I was born in Indiana. I think we lived there for just a couple of years, but I always say I'm from the Hoosier State. And Levi's like, you were there for like a year. Like you're not from Indiana. I was born there. It counts. Our initial home study is next week. Any advice? So I would say my best advice is just to relax. At first, I was terrified that they would like come in and look through every nook and cranny. I remember watching a video, and I shared this on a YouTube video. A lady said that they came in and like went through her underwear drawer, her end tables or side tables by her bed, and I was petrified. I'm like, do we need to remove like lube? Do I need to move my lingerie? Do I need to like straighten my underwear drawer? Like I was petrified. But it was so simple and easy. It was just like giving someone a tour of your house. This is our bathroom. This is our master bedroom. This is our kitchen. It was not bad at all. So my advice would be to relax, take a deep breath. I think it would help. It helps me to like make sure my house is just nice and clean. And I'm like good to go from there as long as my house is clean. I mean, clearly we have a visit with our caseworker tomorrow and that's what my house looks like, but dirty dishes behind me. But that's my best advice is to just make sure your house is nice and tidy and just take a deep breath. I mean, you can try to perfect your house, but there's always going to be something that they need you to change or need you to adjust or need you to purchase. But yeah, I wouldn't sweat a home study. How long did it take us to get our license? It took us, I submitted the paperwork to say, hey, we're interested in, I guess it would have been May. And we started the classes, finished those in September, and then we got our license in January. We signed for our license at the end of January. So it was a lengthy process, but our county is also, I feel like, very busy and very understaffed. Just like with funding, I think that's a common theme. They're very overworked and understaffed. So it took us a little bit of time, but it kind of gave us time to get a room together and get everything that we needed to purchase. So there was a lot of work. It was a lot of paperwork, and it was a lot of, not a lot of purchases, but a lot of like figuring out what we needed to purchase, what we should purchase, what we shouldn't, a lot of educating ourselves on the process. Oh. When you want to take in older kids, you have to go through the process over again. You do not. Nope, your license is technically good. It's like newborn to 18. They'll just ask you your preferences, although they'll call you for anything. But your license isn't specific for an age range. It's just, you're good to go all over. You just have your preferences. My sister-in-law just finalized an adoption out of care. She came to us at 3 months old and is now 4. Oh my goodness. That is too long. And Kate, I appreciate those prayers. Northeast near Fort Wayne. Well, I don't know. I was born in Vincennes, Indiana. I don't know where that is to Fort Wayne. I would love to go back and just see my hometown. But just see where I was born, see where like my parents took me home to. That's a goal of mine, to drive like 2 states over to Indiana. I have really big goals in life. You can't tell. Home studies are so much less intimidating. That's a good word. That's a word I should have used. They are, yeah, it honestly felt like just giving someone a tour of my house and then saying, hey, you need to purchase a fire extinguisher. Why don't you put your knives up here out of reach? Put medications away. It was very, very relaxed. Have I ever used Obvisense? Is that the thing that goes in you? If so, I have not. Because I thought that was marketed more towards those with PCOS, and I could be wrong, Linda. So correct me if I'm wrong, please. I have not tried it. I wanted to try the Ava bracelet, and it kind of just said like, I forgot where I read it, or a review maybe, and it's basically like if you have endometriosis or if you're ovulating as normal, like it's really not going to be a great benefit to you. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Obvisense and the Ava bracelet, but I haven't tried it. Foster care is definitely a roller coaster. There are so many highs and there are so many lows to it. Has Levi ever gotten a semen analysis? Yes, he has. He has had, okay, so one at the start of our fertility journey. 3 total. Levi, do you remember? He might have his headphones on. He's playing video games. I think he's had 3, and all of them were amazing. So my one doctor said that, and these numbers are not going to be accurate, if you have like 10 million sperm, you can expect, how did he put it? Like 1 million of those to not be like motility be off, morphology, like all those things should be off. And Levi, if he had 10 million, like he maybe lost like 3. It was something so crazy. Somehow the man's got perfect sperm. So we haven't done that since 2019. I don't even know if it would be a benefit to us since we've never had like a questionable one, but it might be something that if we go to a new doctor that they would want to do. I know you said TMI. There's not TMI in my book. I share everything. Did you set up a toddler room, like a 4-year-old room, and a baby room? So in our first home, our first house was 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So the bedroom that we had set up had a crib in it that could convert to a toddler bed or a twin bed. So technically we had 1 room for either age. In this house, we have 2 spare bedrooms. So 1 room that Miss A is in is obviously set for her age, and then the other room has our crib in it. I would say if that's your age range and you only have 1 bedroom to work with, get a crib that you can convert down. That way you're not having to like scramble to find like a bed and then a crib and, separates of everything. It'll save you a lot of money. And then when you get a placement, if you choose to take in a second one, then at that point you can kind of reevaluate what you need. Do you need a crib? Do you need a bed? And so on. Okay, I'm glad that you said that you complete the home studies and that's nerve-wracking for you. I would absolutely be nerve-wracking or nervous because I have I would be so fearful. The girl that came in and did our home study, I was paranoid. I was like, I hope that my house is clean enough. Does it smell good? Is it okay? And she's like, listen, I have gone into homes. I have sat my stuff down and there was a cockroach that like crawled across my paperwork. She's like, I have seen it all. Your home is fine. And then I heard that. I'm like, I could never go and do this because I would freak out. I would be like, what? Freak out. And she said that the people were like, oh yeah, that's Steve the cockroach. Flicked him off like it was no big deal. And I would be like, okay, there's a cockroach like crawling all over my things here. This isn't right. Like something's not adding up here. I was born in Vincennes, Indiana. You know what? I might make a trip to Indiana, stop by your place, show me around town. You know what, Ashley? I don't even know what to say. I am so sorry. I have on my leopard pajama pants. Levi has never spoke those words to me, but if I did, here's the papers. I follow a girl on Instagram, and she has leopard like all over her house, like leopard comforter, leopard throw pillows. I want to do that, but I'm like, Levi loves me, but I don't think he loves me that much. But he's never spoke a cuss word like that to me. Like he does not like leopard. Oh my. I cannot even imagine. And that's why I think I don't have to say anything, but my face will say it for me. So my worry would be that if I went into someone's house with those things, I wouldn't be able to like smile and just keep talking. I think I would look like this the entire time. Panicked. I could not do it. And especially like the investigators, the caseworkers, like all these people that have to go out to these children's homes and the conditions that they're living in, I'm like, there's not enough money in the world that is paid to those individuals. I can list so many careers that deserve to be making much more money than these football players and baseball players and basketball players and a caseworker, investigator, all the people in children's division, one of them. I know someone asked me if I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I didn't even know that the Kansas City Chiefs were in a Super Bowl until today. I had no idea. I don't have TV. Like, we have Netflix and Hulu, but I don't keep up with anything. Levi might be. He might be excited for the Super Bowl. I think my older brother is like a big football guy. So I'm sure he's like counting down the hours. Levi might be. He hasn't even said anything to me. Will we be transferring our last embryo? We will be, but I don't know when. We're kind of waiting to feel at peace with that decision and kind of waiting for that door to be open. Right now, we don't feel comfortable stepping in that direction yet. And I know that IVF for Levi and I was a really big deal. It brought on a lot of anxiety. It brought on a lot of depression. And so I want to go into it whenever my mindset is clear and positive and all of the things. I don't want to go into it with a negative mindset and be in that headspace that I'm not mentally prepared to do it. So we will be transferring, but when is a giant question mark. Well, Ashley, at least he's buying you leopard print. That's what matters. He doesn't have to like it. I will buy my husband camouflage. Don't like it, but I'll buy it for him. I really appreciate that sweet comment. Seeing Levi and I as foster parents and how supportive our whole family is gives you faith in the foster care system. That is very sweet of you. Our family has been so supportive and so helpful. With Miss A, I'm going to be quite honest. Our families call and talk. They'll like call me on the phone. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, what's up?" Or like Levi's mom, I'm like, "Hey, Vicky, what's up?" She's like, "Hey, is Miss A there?" I'm like, doesn't even call to talk to me anymore. All about her. They are head over heels in love with her. Okay, so Lindsay, for age 12 and up, do you know if you have to have separate rooms for children of that age if they are the same gender? After an hour area, 6 years and older, same gender can go together, but boy and girl, like male and female, cannot share a room. So if you have a 3-year-old little boy and like a 1-year-old little girl, they could be in the same bedroom, if I remember correctly. And at 6 years old, they'd have to be separate. If you had a 6 or a 7-year-old little girl and a 10-year-old little girl, they could share a room. How many brothers and sisters do I have? I have 3 brothers. I am the only girl. My older brother is 5 years older than me. My first younger brother, what's the proper term for that? My first younger brother is 22 months younger than me. And then my youngest brother is 16 years younger than me, 15 years younger than me. Get you Miss A some Muddy Girl camo. She would be all for it. She is like, we call her little Levi. Levi is like hunting and camouflage and dirt and mud and working on stuff. She would have a heyday with that. My mother-in-law has a Muddy Girl, or maybe it's my sister-in-law, a gun of some sort. It's like that pink camouflage. They might have other things too, but they love it. Miss A would too. Best of both worlds. Yeah, somehow Miss A, she is just like Levi, looks like Levi, talks like Levi, acts like Levi. Like, I was really wanting like a little girly girl. And Miss A will let me kind of like dress her up and do the bows and the frills and the tutus. But then she like takes off in the garage and was like on the floor underneath her like bike working on that. Like, you are a little Levi. Listen, Dr. Pepper free, I just seen that. I have not had a Dr. Pepper all year. The other day, I was just not feeling well. Levi and Miss A and myself were all just like kind of down with just like congestion. It lasted like 2 days. But my mom called me and she's like, "Is there anything I can do for you? Can I get you anything?" And I'm like, "A Dr. Pepper," but I can't have one. I have not had one. I have allowed myself a sweet tea every once in a while, although lately, if I'm being honest, I've gotten a little carried away with it. I need to kind of cut back on the sweet tea. But I have been craving a spicy, my mouth is watering. Miller just turned on my robot vacuum. I have been craving a spicy Dr. Pepper. Levi, do you hear this? Do you hear this? Miller just turned on the vacuum. Yes, put him in there. Pushed it with his paw. I'm fostering a 4-month-old baby boy and have 3 bio kids, the youngest being 15 months. And oh man, is it insane? Oh my goodness, Stephanie. You are a tough woman. That is awesome though. How are you doing? How's everything going? Levi and I seem to be very nice. Miss A looks so happy with us. Miss A tells us all the time how happy she is with us, and it's the most special thing. She is definitely, I feel like in her heart, she feels like this is where she belongs. Like, I don't know, it's the most strange thing ever, but I'm so glad that Levi and I seem to be very nice. I'm glad that I put that out there. I'm not saying I mean I'm like putting out this persona, but sometimes I'm glad that that's just my image that I'm putting out, that we're nice people. So today for Levi's Valentine's Day gift, if you don't know, I'm doing like 14 days of gift giving. So the first day I got him just his favorite candy and a card. Yesterday I got him a coupon book. If I could wink, I would. A little coupon book. And then today I did a scratch off and I said, "I won the lottery whenever I met you." He won nothing on it, but it was still just like I thought it was cute. We only have one cat. We have Miller. Levi named him. Miller Joseph is his name. I gave him the middle name. I give all my animals middle names. I would like another cat. I want a snuggly cat because Miller is not like that. Miller is just like runs everywhere and wants nothing to do with like being held and loved on. And I want a snuggly cat. But I feel like we have 2 dogs, a cat. Like we're good in the animal department. Hello. Okay, do you pronounce your name Jayla? I hope I'm saying that right. I am the world's worst when it comes to pronunciation of names, so forgive me. Oh. So yeah, I am actually going away this weekend. Miss A and I leave on Friday. We're going to go to Arkansas to see my brother. He is in the Air Force, so we're going to go see him, my sister-in-law, and then their little boy that Miss A is obsessed with. So today I brought my camera with me. I shared this in the beginning. I brought my camera with me and I was going to film and I'm like, I just wasn't feeling it. So I decided I'll just get on live and chat with you all for a little bit. I think that I can save this video to be viewed later, but well, happy first birthday, Oreo. I almost forgot to run Rosie my vacuum. And there's your reminder. Miller gave you the reminder. Levi named our vacuum Randy. I don't know. If you've ever seen My Name is Earl, I think that's where he came up with the name, but I can't tell you that for certain.
What?
How you named Randy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's about my bedtime, 8:35. So I actually, Leah, to answer your question, I did not contact our OB or our specialist. I actually don't have an OB. I had my lab work done, and the nurse and office manager called me and was like telling me about my results, and they were so freaking rude and insensitive about it that I'm just like done with this clinic. Like, as I mentioned earlier, it was kind of something that we were debating. And then to experience what we did, just they were hateful, they were rude, did not care about our feelings. Never called back, never went in for a follow-up. So I don't know if they want us to try on our own, but we are. So do you want to say hi and then we'll sign off?
No.
You can say hi. You can say hello.
Hi.
Levi claims that you guys only watch me for him. He says he makes my videos. So, okay, I need to shower. I guess I'm going to sign off of here. And yeah, I will catch up with you guys. I am going to take my camera with me this weekend and film some while we are away, having a weekend getaway. It's just myself, my mom, and Miss A. So I will record what I can, and then I hope to have that video up on Tuesday. But yeah, I thank you guys so much for tuning in, for chatting with me. This has been so much fun. I'll have to do this more often, but I love you guys, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Actually, not a little bit. I'll see you on Monday or Tuesday. Bye, guys.